بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين المصطفى أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم على أعدائهم وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وقرآنه الحميد وقوله الحق أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال هذا فراق بيني وبينك سأنبئك بتأويل ما لم تستطع عليه صبرا أما السفينة فكانت لمساكين يعملون في البحر فأردت أن أعيبها وكان وراءهم ملك يأخذ كل سفينة غصبا وأما الغلام فكان أبواه مؤمنين فخشينا أن يرهقهما طغيانا وكفرا فأردنا أن يبدلهما ربهما خيرا منه زكاة وأقرب رحما وأما الجدار فكان لغلامين يتيمين في المدينة وكان تحته كنز لهما وكان أبوهما صالحا فأراد ربك أن يبلغا أشدهما ويستخرجا كنزهما رحمة من ربك وما فعلته عن أمري ذلك تأويل ما لم تسطع عليه صبرا صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So continuing with our discussion, we said that Musa alayhi salam and Al-Khidr alayhi salam went together on a journey. They rode in a ship. Khidr broke it or punctured it. Musa objected. Khidr alayhi salam told him that I told you will not be able to be patient with me. They moved on. He found a young boy, very handsome looking boy. Khidr jumps on him immediately and kills him. Again, Musa alayhi salam objects. Khidr tells him again, reminds him, remember I told you, you will not be able to be patient with me. And then he tells him that if I object anymore, then you can leave me. So they go on to a city where they were hungry. They asked people to help them. Nobody wanted to help them. Nobody wanted to feed them. Nobody wanted to host them. They find a wall that's about to deteriorate, to collapse. Al-Khidr alayhi salam builds it. Musa salamullah alayhi makes a suggestion. He says, you could have asked money for this so that maybe you could have used this money to buy food with it from these people. At that point, he tells him, هَذَا فِرَاقُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنِكَ. This is that, now our departure, خلاص. But I will tell you about what you were unable to bear patient, about the issues. I'll tell you the deep meaning, ta'wil. Ta'wil is the deep meaning, the hidden meanings. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ. Ta'wil al-Quran, it's not known except Allah وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ لَا يَمَسُّهُ إِلَّا الْمُطَهَّرُونَ. So the Quran, the deeper meaning of the Quran is only touched by Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhim ajma'een. They're the only ones who know how to interpret the Quran. So the ta'wil, I'll tell you the deep meaning. With regards to the ship, first of all, when I punctured the ship, it was calculated puncture. This hole that I made was not going to make the ship sink. It was merely just to make it look bad so that when the king, because there's a king who's coming after them, and he was going to seize the ship, if it were a good ship, he would have seized it by force. So to protect those people, I protected them. I damaged their ship, but it's still operational. It still can carry people across. Maybe they will have to go through the trouble of taking the water and dumping it out of the ship on a regular basis. But nonetheless, it's still functional, operational, and it could be repaired. But at least it saved the ship. When Musa alayhi salam heard this answer, he did not object because this is a completely logical answer. Now we come to the next point. The next point is an important point. With the next point, there is a very important theological discussion, issue of aqeedah, and that is Allah's divine justice. This is a serious topic that some people get confused about, and some people don't have answers for when they are questioned about it. So we need to answer this and address this. First of all, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know of our outcome in the future? That's one. Two, if he knows our outcome in the future, in other words, if he knows that Usama is going to go to Jannah or Usama is going to go to the hellfire, then does that not interfere with my willpower? That's the second question. Third, if Allah is so merciful, so just, then why do we see so many miseries in the world today? These are the three important questions which need to be addressed. Let's first go through what happened between Musa and Al-Khidr alayhim as-salam, and then we'll come to these questions. With regards to the boy, he told him about the ship. It made perfect sense. I remind you again, I've been reminding this every time, but again I remind you, Musa alayhi salam is objecting because he is looking at it with which lens? The Sharia point of view. In the Sharia point of view, you can't just go kill someone when he hasn't committed a crime. Khidr alayhi salam, however, he is not acting based on Sharia. He has his own Sharia. It's a different task, different obligation altogether, which is taqween, amrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when it comes as amrullah, khalas, there's no question about it. These are different obligations, different duties, different tasks, all together. You cannot compare them to each other. That's the important part. Now, he tells him in ayah number 80, وَأَمَّا الْغُلَامِ. Okay, now we talk to the boy. Ghulam. Ghulam usually is a young boy. The Mufassirin, however, here they have differed. They said, was he young enough that he was not mukallaf? In other words, this boy, did he reach the age of puberty or did he not reach the age of puberty? Because taklif for boys is reaching the age of puberty. Or, in our madhab, in our sharia, reaching the age of 15, either one. Either reaching the age of puberty or 15 years old, that's when the boy becomes mukallaf. Now he has to fast, he has to pray, etc., etc. Although, just as a comment here on the side, we should not wait for our boys until they're 15, and now we start teaching them salat and siyam. Teach them salat and siyam when they're 7, 8. That's when you should start teaching them. Because as the hadith says, التعليم في الصغر كالنقش في الحجر. Teaching at a young age is like engraving in stone. So don't wait until he's a teenager. At that time, then now you just, I know it's not wajib, but we train. It's a training process. Okay? So anyways, was this boy mukallaf or was he not mukallaf? Here the Mufassirin, they try to interpret. they tried to come up with some reasons. Why would Al-Khidr kill him? So Khidr says, وَأَمَّا الْغُلَامِ فَكَانَ أَبَوَاهُ مُؤْمِنَيْن. His parents were mu'mineen. His mother and father were virtuous people. What happened? فَخَشِينَا أَن يُرْهِقَهُمَا طُغْيَانًا وَكُفْرًا. We were worried that the son would drag his parents towards disbelief in Allah. The son would drag the parents away from Allah. They're mu'mineen. Khashina, by the way, Allah is not worried here. Khashina does not mean worry. Allah doesn't get worried. You and I get worried because we don't know the outcomes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need to get worried. Khashina here, either Al-Khidr is talking or this is just as a metaphorical speaking. Allah doesn't get worried. But sometimes Allah uses words that we are familiar with. We can relate to in the Quran. But otherwise, Allah doesn't get worried. He knows the outcome. He knows exactly what's going to happen. So He doesn't need to get worried. So, فَخَشِينَا, we were concerned that this boy is going to take. Concerned here, it means this is what was going to happen. This is what was going to happen. Allah's knowledge knows this boy is going to drag his parents away from Iman. And therefore, He will take them into Jahannam. They're mu'mineen. They're good people. So what did we do? We wanted to stop that. So the killing was to stop this. And then, فَأَرَدْنَا أَن يُبْدِلَهُمَا رَبُّهُمَا خَيْرًا مِّنْهُ. We wanted that Allah will exchange them. I killed this boy, but Allah is going to exchange them with another child. But that child, خَيْرًا مِّنْهُ زَكَاةً وَأَقْرَبُ رُحْمًا, is much more virtuous, is a kind mu'min, muttaqi. So I killed this boy because Allah knew through His knowledge that this child was going to take his parents away from Iman into kufr, wal-'iyadhu billah. And this child himself is also not a muttaqi. He himself is also, wal-'iyadhu billah, a rejecter of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah wanted to exchange them with another child. So I killed this one, so they will have another child who is going to be a mu'min, muttaqi, virtuous. Imam al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi says, the boy that was killed, Allah gave the parents a girl, not a boy. He gave them a girl. This girl became a mother to 70 prophets. 70 prophets. It doesn't mean she gave birth to 70 prophets. I mean, all her children. She became, of her progeny. Of her progeny came 70 prophets. Look at the khair. Look at zakat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A kafir got killed, but in exchange, you have now a girl who is mu'minah, and she became the mother of 70 prophets. What a great blessing. What a great ni'mah. If they ask somebody, a parent, they say, your son is going to deviate you, and he's a kafir. Let Allah exchange him for a boy, a girl, or some child from which there will be 70 prophets. Some parents, if they are muttaqeen, mu'mineen, if they have a complete wisdom and aql and submission to Allah, they say, sure, khalas. If that's what Allah wills, great. And instead of having a kafir, wal-'iyadhu billah, let me have a muttaqi, a pious son. So that makes sense. Some of the mufassirin say this boy, although they call him ghulam, however, he was a young adult. In other words, he was mukallaf. He had reached the age of puberty. And he had already committed several crimes. He was a criminal. Some of the mufassirin say this boy was already a criminal, and therefore he deserved to be killed because he already was a criminal. And based on that sharia of Musa alayhi salam, if he had committed these crimes, then death penalty would have been, issued to him. Therefore, he would have acted within the boundaries of the sharia. But because Musa alayhi salam did not know this boy was a criminal, that's why he objected. If he had known he was a criminal, and within the boundaries of his laws, it may have been possible that he would have been killed. So here they say this could be an answer. Other mufassirin, why do they say this? Because when Khidr killed him in verse 74, Musa, when he objected, he said, قَالَ أَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا زَكِيًّا بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ. Did you kill a boy when he has not committed a crime, when he hasn't killed anyone else? If it's a child who kills somebody, a child who's not like he has not reached the capability of understanding, then you can't punish that child with killing him. But if it's somebody who is older, someone who is older, an adult, and he kills someone, then there could be repercussions. Even in some countries in the world, they have what they call capital punishment. They would kill someone if he's charged with murder. Now, here is something to also address about Islam. Some people say Islam endorses capital punishment. Islam does not endorse capital punishment. Islam puts disciplinary actions. In some cases, they are serious disciplinary actions to deter people from committing some of the haram. For example, Islam says if there is a thief who steals, but there has to be 25 conditions to be satisfied for him before you cut off his 4 fingers. A thief, you cut off his, but not any thief. You cannot starve a person to death, and then when he steals, you go cut off his fingers. You cannot, for example, impose upon somebody, oppress somebody. In Kitab Al-Dhunub Al-Kabira, The Greater Sins, by Sayyid Abdul Hussein Dastaghaib, he lists 25 conditions that must be set before cutting off the fingers. Now, why is it there? So deter to people from stealing. Deter them from stealing. You have some people who might be mayors of cities, governors, premiers, presidents, prime ministers. MashaAllah, he's got the authority, he's got all the power, he's got everything, and he still steals. He still does, acts of fraud. Sometimes we hear in the newspapers every now and then, a mayor was convicted of fraud, a mayor was convicted, or a governor was convicted of a scandal, money scandal, etc., etc. Well, why would this guy need to steal? MashaAllah, he's a governor, he's a mayor, he has money, he has everything, he has authority. Why would he abuse? Because when he steals people's money, people are going to suffer. There are people who are sleeping on the street, homeless, and they're suffering. Now he's stealing their money. So to deter people from committing such action, Allah puts some harsh disciplinary repercussions. Anyways, okay, so that's one reason. So some people say the boy was a young man, he was an adult already, he had already committed several crimes, he was a criminal, and he deserved to be punished. Musa's objection is because he did not know this boy was a criminal. Allah did not give him this knowledge. So that's one. If that's the case, then it's fine. However, some say no, he was not an old boy. He was a young boy. He was not yet the age of puberty. So then why would Khidr kill him? Why would he kill an innocent boy? Nafsan zakiyya. Why would he kill him? We say if that were the case, in our ahadith, there is a question. What happens to children when they die? What happens to children when they die? There is a discussion among the ulama. Some of them say if they were children of mu'mineen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make Ibrahim and Sarah alayhim as-salam take care of them, taking care of these children until the day of judgment. They will be joined with their father and will go Jannat with their father if they were children of mu'mineen. If they were children of non-mu'mineen, people who were not mu'mineen, then in that case, it is said they will be examined, they will be tested, these children on the day of judgment, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, based on their test, will either take them to Jannah or punish them. So this is some ideas among the mufassirin, the ulama. Now, the parents of this boy, were they mu'mineen or were they kuffar? Mu'mineen. So he is their son. Therefore, if he gets killed when he has not reached the age of puberty, then where would he go? He would go to Jannah. He would go because his parents are mu'mineen. Therefore, killing this boy is rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's rahmah. If he had grown to become an adult, he may have become a kafir and ended up in Jahannam. Since he was not yet an adult, a mukallaf, a baligh, therefore killing him took him to Jannah. And even if he were a criminal, even if he were an adult criminal, by killing him, it reduced his crimes. If this guy had lived even longer, he would have even committed even more crimes. Even more crimes. His punishment in Akhirah would have been even more severe. Now maybe, for example, he'll be in the second level of Jahannam, Whereas if he had lived longer, maybe he could have been in the 4th, 5th, 6th level of Jahannam, for example. So it is rahmah of Allah to kill him. Now the question is this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this person, so he knows all our actions. You say, yes, Allah knows each and every one of us. What will be our consequence? Which one of us will go to Jannah? Which one will go to Jahannam? So that raises a big question then. This question became a big debate among ulama. An issue of jabr or tafweed. So does this mean that we are predetermined? It doesn't matter what I do in dunya. Allah has already set the course for me to go to Jahannam. So then what's the point? Or he has already set the course for me to go to Jannah. Here, the Muslims split into 3 groups. The Sunnis, the madhahib al-arba'a, or the madhahib of Sunnis, split into 2 groups. The madhab of Ahl al-Bayt was the 3rd group. What is it? The Sunnis split into 2 groups. One group was called the Mu'tazilites, one the Asha'irites. Al-Mu'tazila wal-Asha'ira. Al-Asha'ira, under whom all the 4 madhahib fall under. Although at the time they were not called Asha'ira. At the time, Madhab Abu Hanifa was not called Al-Madhab Al-Ash'ari back in his days. Because Abu Hassan Al-Ash'ari died in the 320 Hijri. So after all those. That's when the madhab was coined, Al-Madhab Al-Ash'ari. However, their opinions are in line with Al-Ash'ari madhab. That's why they're all called Asha'ira. The Asha'irites, what do they say? They said that there is no free will, predetermination. Allah created us and He chooses who goes to Jannah, who goes to heaven. It's up to Him. He can take Yazid ibn Muawiyah and put him in Jannah. And He can take a virtuous man, a muttaqi, and put him in Jahannam. Up to Allah. Khalas. Who are we to discuss? Who are we to argue with Allah? Khalas. He chooses. Allah has made us, already created us. It's predetermined. Our actions are predetermined. This kind of concept, this kind of notion went really well with the khulafa, the kings. The kings like this. It's wonderful. So you mean I can, drink all I want? And if people ask me, why are you drinking? Well, Allah made me drink. It's not my fault. And then maybe Allah will take me to Jannah. How do you know? Can you argue with Allah? No. It's great. It sounds really good. I like it. So let's work with it. Came the Mu'tazilites. Mu'tazilites who are also from Ahlul Sunnah. They said, what nonsense is this? What nonsense? A human being, leave alone Allah. A human being. If you come to a human being and tell him this is what Yazid did, and this is, for example, what Imam al-Hussein did. Imam al-Hussein goes to Jannah and Yazid goes to Jannah. A human being. If you have a fair, just judge, say, no way. This guy deserves a punishment for what he did. So how could Allah, wal-'iyadhu billah, Allah, it is qabih. It is, it's so bad that if Allah, wal-'iyadhu billah, takes a kafir or takes somebody who is non-pious and puts him in Jannah, and takes a pious, put him in Jahannam. What nonsense is this? Allah gave us complete free will. Free will. We are responsible for our actions. Came Imam al-Sadiq salamullahi alayhi, and he said, لا جبر ولا تفويض ولكن أمر بين أمرين. There is no complete free will, nor is it complete predetermination. It's a matter between the two. What does he mean by a matter between the two? When it comes to creation, you have no control. What do we mean by that? For example, did you choose your parents? No, you didn't. Did you choose what color your eye is? What color your skin is? No, you didn't. Did you choose where you were born? Did you send like a text message to your parents somehow and tell them, I like Hawaii, take me to Hawaii. I want to be born in Hawaii. No. Wherever your parents chose, that's where you were born. When you eat the food, the minute you swallow, can you control then what happens to the food? No, khalas. It's out of your control now. Now the body will do whatever processes it will do. These matters of creation, you have no control over. When it comes to creation, you don't control it. However, matters of legislation, tashri', yes, you have full control. Did Allah force you to come to Husayniyah tonight? No, He didn't. You chose to come to Husayniyah, so you got the ajr and the thawab. Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala force you to pray at the time of salat now? Did He force you? No, He doesn't. Allah forces you to wear hijab? No, He doesn't. It's up to you. You choose. And therefore, on the day of judgment, He will either reward or punish you. If you pray, He'll reward you. You don't, He'll punish you. It's a consequence of your own action. It's you, you choose. That's when it comes to tashri', legislation. La ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in the religion. You don't force people. Inna hadaynahu sabila imma shakiran wa imma kafura. We showed him the path. Allah sends prophets, sends imams, sends awliyaullah. Allah gives us maraj'u taqleed, ulama, khutaba. They teach you. This is haq, this is batil. Then it's up to you. You choose where is haq, what is batil. You choose. And then it will be held accountable. So Allah does not force anybody anything. That's why it is said that one day Imam Abu Hanifa al-Nu'man says that among the things that Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq says, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, because Abu Hanifa was the student of Imam al-Sadiq. He became student for 2 years. But unfortunately, he did not listen to Imam al-Sadiq, salamullah alayhi. So he says, among the things that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq says, which I don't understand, it doesn't make sense to me. He says that that Iblis is going to be punished in the hellfire. Well, Iblis is made of fire. How is he going to be punished in fire? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that. And he says that we are responsible for our own actions. How is that in case? Allah is responsible for our actions. How could it be that we are responsible for our actions? And third, he says Allah cannot be seen. We will not be seeing Allah on the day of judgment. How could that be? How could something that exists not be seen? How could that be possible? So he's objecting. He's objecting against who? Imam al-Sadiq salamullah alayh. Ba'd subhanallah. Anyways, who happens to walk by at that moment? Al-Bahlul. Bahlul walks by at that moment. Perfect timing. He hears him. He says, good, mashallah. He takes a little piece of clay, mashallah, a nice ball. He makes it and hits Abu Hanifa right there. What is this? They take Al-Bahlul, they arrest him. And Abu Hanifa goes with him to the judge. The judge tells Al-Bahlul, what did you do? He said, what? He said, no. Why did you throw a rock at him? Why did you hit him? He said, Abu Hanifa was asking some questions. I answered him. That's it. I didn't do anything. Said, what do you mean? He said, Abu Hanifa says, how could Iblis, who's made of fire, be burnt in fire? Well, he's made of clay. I hit him with clay. So why did the clay hurt him? How could the clay hurt him? He's made of clay. So he's lying. He's not hurt. Second, he says that Allah cannot be seen. How could Allah not be seen? How could Allah not be seen when He exists? Okay, show me His pain. Where is your pain? Show me. I want to see your pain. You say you have pain? Where is the pain? Show me. I don't see your pain. Therefore, you have no pain. Khalas. Your pain doesn't exist. You claim that Allah is responsible for our actions. Then why are you holding me responsible? Khalas. Allah is responsible. Allah made me go pick up this clay and hit. Then why do you, the judge then laughed and said, go, Bahlul, go. Just get out of here. So therefore, you see, it makes sense. We are responsible for our own actions. Now, the question is, does Allah then know where we are going to go? Jannah? Yes, He does. So doesn't that interfere? Does not that interfere? We say, no, it doesn't. With our free will. How? Let me give you an example. Those of you who have children, you'll be able to understand my example. Those of you who have children, concentrate with me. And you can explain it to those others. Do you remember your children when they were maybe 2 years old? Maybe 1.5, 2 years old. Remember that age. They were still innocent. They still are, pure. They don't know how to lie. They're very innocent at that age. So suppose, for example, your son takes your keys, and starts hitting them on the table. Ding, 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 drives you crazy. You come and you take the keys away from him. He looks at you and says, Baba, give me keys back. No, give me the keys. Please, give me keys. You say, if I give you the keys, you're going to hit them on the table again. He says, no, I will not hit them on the table again. Now you look at his eyes, and you can read his eyes. Because he's still innocent. He's still young. From his eyes, what can you see? He's going to hit it on the table again. You can't tell. As a father, as a mother, you can't tell. You're going to hit it on the table. I can tell. He says, no, I will not. I said, okay. But if you do hit it on the table again, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to take it away from you. If you don't, I will reward you. I will keep it with you. Okay? You give the keys back to your son. Looking at his eyes, you know what he is going to do, and he does exactly as you knew he was going to do. Takes the keys and again hits them on the table. Now you come to punish. Now the punishment is fair. You come and say, come, give me the keys now. Did you as a father know he was going to do this, or as a mother? Yes, you did, because you could read his eyes. Has that happened to you before? Sometimes something similar to this. Has this happened sometimes? Remember that age, when they're still innocent. It happens. The parents know. Did your knowledge, did it anyway affect his actions though? Did you telepathically, for example, force him to do this? Did you order him to do this? No, you didn't. Your knowledge did not interfere with his choice. He chose by himself. He chose to do it. If that is the case, if you knew he was going to do it, well, why did you give it to him? Because now he has no argument against you. Now he cannot say, well, if you had given it to me, I would not have done it. If you had given it to me, I would not have done it. You say, no, you will do it. And here, take it. You can read his eyes and he does it. Now you are justified in your punishment. Now you can punish. Is that justice or not? Fair or not? That's absolute fairness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what we are going to do. His knowledge, however, does not interfere with our action. It does not interfere. We choose. Why then does he let us do it if he knows? Because then on the day of judgment we cannot object. Well, Ya Allah, if you had let me, I would not have done it. He says, yes, I did let you. I left you to do it and you did it. Now, either you will get rewarded or you get punished. That's Allah's justice. It's fair. So it's fair then. Okay, good. So we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. He knew ultimately what this boy was going to do. He was going to become kafir. He knew this boy was going to drag his parents into kufr. Out of his knowledge, he did not interfere with the actions of the boy. He did not interfere with his actions of the boy, but he ordered that this boy gets killed so that his parents do not get dragged into becoming kuffar as well. And also it would have been a rahmah if the boy was not yet in the age of puberty, mukallaf, baligh, he would go to Jannah. And if he was mukallaf, then even then his punishment would be less severe than if he had gone for a long time. Therefore, it is rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a mercy of Allah. When you look at the big picture, it's good to love one's children, but not to the point where you go to Jahannam, wal-'iyadhu billah, because of them. Imam Ali alayhi salam says about Az-Zubair ibn al-Awwam. Az-Zubair ibn al-Awwam, Imam Ali's cousin, the son of Safiya, the Prophet's aunt. Zubair was a hero, a brave man. He fought next to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi in the battles. Was a mu'min, a muttaqi. But then time goes by and Zubair takes his sword against Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullahi alayhi in the battle of Jamal. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, لا زال الزبير منا أهل البيت منا أهل البيت حتى نشأ ولده المشؤوم عبد الله بن الزبير. لما نشأ هذا الصبي لما نشأ أخذ والده عن جادة الصواب والعياذ بالله. When Abdullah ibn Zubair became older, he drove his father away from the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Because of his son, the father was deviated. والعياذ بالله. Imam Ali says, Zubair was of us, Ahlul Bayt, until his son Abdullah, grew up. The son deviated. The father. Whenever we hear the story, whenever I read the story or hear the story of Zubair, I get goosebumps. A man who served his whole life Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was one of the people who were in the house of Fatima alayhi salam when the house was attacked. He was one of the people inside the house. He gets out and he defends Fatima to Zahra alayhi salam, but he was arrested. They trip him, he falls, he loses his sword, they arrest him. He was one of those people who was with Ahlul Bayt, of Ahlul Bayt. But subhanallah, we have to be very careful. At the end of his life, wal-'iyadhu billah, he deviated. He gone. We have to be careful, That's why I tell the mu'mineen, don't take sins lightly. Don't take some sins. You say, I only listen to music. I pray, I fast, I only listen to music. I don't wear hijab. It's okay, khalas. We say, don't say these things. Don't say these things. One sin at a time, wal-'iyadhu billah, could take you one day to out of the straight path. Could take you to Jahannam, wal-'iyadhu billah. Don't take this lightly. That's why we try to be the best we can to the best of our ability, inshallah. Last question. If Allah is so merciful, is so just, then why do we have so many miseries in the world today? Why do we see so many problems in the world today? Well, first of all, sometimes these problems cannot be attributed to Allah. Human is the one who's to be responsible for some of these problems. There is a Nobel laureate by the name of Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus of Bangladesh. He won the Nobel Prize for Peace back in 2006. This is something also for you guys to know. Sometimes they tell you Muslims, terrorists, whatever. In the past 12 years, we have 4 Nobel laureates for peace who are Muslims. 4 out of 12 are Muslims. The youngest person to win the Nobel Prize for Peace is a Muslimah. The youngest person to win the Nobel Prize for Peace is a Muslimah. And one of those 4 is a muhajjaba, full hijab from Yemen, a journalist from Yemen, muhajjaba, with her hijab. She won the Nobel Prize for Peace. So when people tell you, with hijab, it will stop you, it cannot, tell them, with hijab we can win the Nobel Prize for Peace if we put in the effort. Hijab does not stop us, So one of them is Dr. Muhammad Yunus. In 2006, he won the Nobel Prize for Peace. He writes in one of his books, he says, in today's world, there's so much poverty, not because there is not enough resources. He says there are enough resources. The problem, he says, 94% of the world's wealth is in the hands of 60% of the world's population. That's a problem. The remaining 6% is divided by 60%. So if you have a pie and you have 100 people in the room, you cut the pie into 100 slices. Each person, 100 people in the room, a pie with 100 slices. Maryam, each one gets how many slices? 1, mashallah. How old are you, Maryam, again? 8. An 8-year-old understands this mathematical division. 100 people in the room, 100 slices of pie, each one gets 1. An 8-year-old understands it. That's what needs to happen. However, what happens today in the world is you tell 40 people in the room, 40 people, you tell them, you go this way. 60 people go that way. You take 94 slices of the pie and you give them to 40 people. Hey, take this. How many slices do you have left? 6 slices. And how many people do you have left? 60. Go ahead, enjoy. What do you think is going to happen? That's why you have wars, poverty. They'll start killing each other. They'll start, so on and so forth. Otherwise, if you give each one whatever he deserves, there is enough. That's what he says, a professor who won the Nobel Prize for Peace. So we cannot blame the poverty we see today in some parts of the world, children dying of poverty, children being malnourished, children. And you know what's painful, what's interesting sometimes? You know what's interesting? If you look at the resources and look at the people who are in charge of these resources, the 94%, they keep it in their hands. And then they come up and they say, there are some poor people in Africa. Let's set up some charities to go and feed them. Let's go help them. Poor people. Look how generous we are. Well, who started this whole problem in the first place? How did this whole problem come up in the first place? But you see how sometimes the propaganda works. So we cannot blame that then on Allah. The people, Allah has given them free will. Allah is not interfering. He lets them, it's the people's responsibility. That's one thing. So that's one. Second, you say, okay, No problem. We can accept that. What about some of the hurricanes? Sometimes you have poor people who have hurricanes, problems. We say true. These may be tests from Allah, a test. Without these hurricanes, how can you tell who is generous and who's not? Who's good and who's not? Plus, a hurricane may be bad for some people, but good for others. Construction companies, they love hurricanes. After hurricane is over, alhamdulillah, wonderful. That's when our job begins. So it could be a disaster for some people, a blessing for others. You may have people who are praying for hurricanes. Ya Rab, make it a good season this year. The more hurricanes, the more disasters, the more construction work, perfect. We're happy. So it may be a disaster for some part, but may not be a disaster for another part. Second, when people go through problems, that's when you can tell who's a true generous, who's a true kind person, and who's not. If everyone is rich, then how do you know who's generous and who's not generous? Everyone's rich. There's nobody in need of poverty, to give. Everyone will be alike. So that could be another reason. Allah is testing people. Third reason, sometimes our own sins bring us calamities. Allahumma ghfir li al-dhunub allati tunzilu al-bala. Tunzilu al-bala. Allahumma ghfir li al-dhunub allati tughayyiru al-ni'am. Tunzilu al-niqam. So on and so forth. Oh Allah, forgive the sins which will bring calamities, afflictions upon me. Forgive these sins, Ya Allah. So our own sins sometimes bring these issues, bring these problems. Finally, tell me, okay, what about these children? These children, for example, who are born with some defect. What is the crime of the child? Or some disease? We say, first of all, Allah is merciful and Allah is just, is fair. This child may have this disease in dunya, but Allah will reward him in the akhirah. That's why we as Muslims, we don't believe this world is the be-all and end-all. This is not the be-all and the end-all. There is another world, another life. Otherwise, there are many things in this life which would be unfair. For example, you have dictators, people like Hitler, people like Saddam Hussein, who kill 1 million people or millions of people. And even though you hang him or you kill him, okay, one person, khalas, it's over, that's fair. He gets killed, that's it. 6 million people or 2-3 million people were killed. And what? Khalas? We say no. In the akhirah, in the hereafter, is when the justice will be served. This is not the be-all and the end-all. There is where, that's why when Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi, Hajjaj was a tyrant, he brought Sa'id ibn al-Jubayr, radwanullah ta'ala alayh. And after a discussion, he tells Sa'id, he says, how do you want me to kill you? Which way? I'll be nice. I'll give you the option of choosing which way you want me to kill you. Sa'id looked at him and said, whichever way you want Allah to kill you on the day of judgment. On the day of judgment. Whatever way you're going to kill me, Allah will kill you that same death on the day of judgment. Justice will be served. So justice will be served. So that's one thing. Another thing, Allah is fair. Allah is merciful. Allah will serve these children their justice when they grow up or in the hereafter. Allah will give them their reward. Second thing, maybe these children, it is not Allah's fault. Again, sometimes the parents, do you know the alcohol fecal syndrome? No, because parents unfortunately drink alcohol, the mother drinks alcohol, the child becomes brain damaged, unfortunately. That's not Allah's fault. That's not our fault. Or because of poverty, malnutrition, which again is not Allah's fault. Allah did not. People. So sometimes these children become ill, true, but it's not Allah's fault. Human beings, they're at fault. And if it were some genetic disease, some whatever, then Allah is merciful and Allah is fair. Allah will reward them in the hereafter. In the hereafter, Allah will give them their reward. And if the parents are also patient, Allah will also reward the parents as well in the hereafter. So that's where justice will be served. In the hereafter, when they see the ajr and the reward, they'll realize, my God, how merciful you are, Ya Allah. How merciful you are. So my brothers and my sisters, what may seem to be a misery, first of all, may not be a misery to others. Second of all, it could be the action of people. People own doing. Climate change, people are doing it. We are polluting our environment, polluting our rivers, polluting our lakes. That's our fault. We can't say, well, why Allah? Well, Allah. He says, I give you free will and I gave you aql. Use your aql. Use your mind. Clean up your waters. But we don't want. And you have people with power, with authority who say, no, it's a hoax. That's not even happening. It's a hoax. You know. That's their fault. It could be because of our own sins. It could be because of Allah's mercy. Allah has wisdom, mercy. Allah will reward us on the hereafter. So these are important things. It's good to finish with this incident. It is said at the time of Bani Israel, a man had 2 daughters. He married one daughter to a farmer and the other daughter to a man who makes clay. You know, molds clay. You know, fakhar. One day he went to visit the daughter who married the farmer. He said to her, how is, inshallah, everything is going well? How is your husband? How is he treating you? She said, alhamdulillah, perfect. Everything is good. My father, I've been helping him out. We just went outside, a couple days ago. We put all the seeds. Ya Allah, please pray that Allah sends us rain. We need rain so that these seeds, inshallah, grow. Say, inshallah. He gets up and he leaves. He goes to visit the other daughter. She's married to who? The clay. He makes clay. Molds clay. When they mold the clay, first of all, it's wet. They keep it in the sun so that the sun hits it and it dries. How are you doing? How is your husband? Everything is going well, Baba. Alhamdulillah, everything is great. A couple days ago, yesterday, my husband and we spent the whole day molding whole bunch of pieces in clay, and we kept them in the outside. Ya Allah, pray for sun. Father, pray for some sun, because we need sun, so that this mold, takes its shape. If it rains, it'll be a problem. He says, inshallah. He comes out of her house. He says, Ya Allah, you decide. Sun or rain. One wants rain, one wants sun. You decide. If he prays for sun, the other lady, his other daughter will be complaining. If he prays for rain, the other one will be complaining. Ya Allah, you decide. I'll leave them up to you. You figure it out. That's why, subhanallah, we are never pleased with what Allah sends. If He sends rain, why, Ya Allah, rain? How come? We start complaining. Send sun. Why sun? We start complaining. He gives us, we complain. Subhanallah. We keep on complaining. This is what we do. That's why we read in Dua al-Iftitah, عَتَبْتُ بِجَهْلِي عَلَيْكَ. لأني جاهل. Because I am jahil, I'm ignorant, I complain of you. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. We complain of Allah. Why, Ya Allah, you do this to me? Why you distress me? Why do I have to go through a car accident? Why my car this? Why do I have to do this? Why? Subhanallah. Always, why? خلاص, say Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. You try your best, you do your best, you leave the rest up to Allah, who is most merciful, Rahim. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to, inshaAllah, shower us with His mercy, with His blessings, and to make us among the Salihin. Raise your hands in the dua, inshallah, brothers and sisters. This is the time, inshallah, when dua is accepted and hajat are fulfilled. These holy nights of this holy month of Ramadan, you are here, inshallah, in this place of worship, attending to these blessed events, listening to the Quran, listening to the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt. You are, inshallah, in the place of rahmah, place of mercy, and this is the place where, inshallah, dua is answered. We read in Hadith al-Kisa, any place where the dhikr of Ahlul Bayt is mentioned, the Prophet, what does he say? وَالَّذِي بَعَثَنِي بِالْحَقِّ نَبِيًّا وَاصْطَفَانِي بِالرِّسَالَةِ نَجِيًّا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. That every time our dhikr is mentioned, the dhikr of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, then the mercy of Allah is showered upon those people. Every time that their dhikr is mentioned, the angels descend down upon you and they do istighfar for you. So right now we cannot see, unfortunately, the rahmah of Allah. We don't see these things. But if we were able to see it, none of us would ever miss a single session in the Husayniyah. Not a single session. We try to be here, the first ones, and the last ones to leave, because the angels continue to do istighfar for us until we leave. That's something, unfortunately, we can't see. But inshallah, this is the time. That's why dua is accepted. The angels are praying for you. They're doing istighfar for you. The rahmah of Allah is upon you. So let us recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. اللهم إنا نسألك وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم 10 times together يا الله 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 يا الله. إلهي بفاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها اكشف عنا السوء يا الله. اللهم اغفر ذنوبنا كفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار مع محمد وآله الأطهار يا الله. اللهم اقض حوائج المؤمنين والمؤمنات شافي وعافي جميع مرضى المؤمنين والمؤمنات على الخصوص من أوصونا بالدعاء منهم. اللهم اقض حوائجهم شافي مرضاهم احفظهم في أوطانهم وديارهم بحفظك ورحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي وارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا اجزهما بالإحسان إحسانا وبالسيئات غفرانا. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج واجعلنا من شيعته وأنصاره وأعوانه والمستشهدين بين يديه. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أرنا الطلعة الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة واكحل أنظارنا بنظرة منا إليه. إلهنا بحق هذا الشهر الفضيل اعتق رقابنا من النار يا الله يا الله يا الله. اللهم ونقسم عليك بالزهراء فاطمة إلا ما رزقتنا شفاعة الزهراء في الدنيا وفي القبر وفي الآخرة يا الله لقضاء الحوائج ولشفاء المرضى ولكشف هذه الغمة عن هذه الأمة ولتعجيل فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان. وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات لا سيما أرواح أموات الجالسين والحاضرين وإلى روح الباذلين والمؤسسين والمساهمين وإلى روح والدتي المرحومة رحم الله من يقرأ السورة المباركة الفاتحة مع الصلوات.